Howdy YouTube, Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse. Today we're going to do part 3 of our Exchange server series of videos, and probably going to be the final part for a while. And today I'm basically just going to go over Outlook Web Access. That is the web interface that comes with Microsoft Exchange 2016, just to show you how to get into it, how to customize it, etc., etc. So that's what we're going to do today, and then we'll talk about that a little bit at the end, about other options you have for client software to connect to Exchange. So let's get this video started right now. Now, some prerequisites. You have to have followed part 1 and part 2 of my Microsoft Exchange series, and hopefully you have your Exchange server up and running. Like I said, you can download this product free from Microsoft, and if you're running it in a lab environment, they don't really care. You don't need a product key to activate it or anything like that. It'll run. Do a lookup on Google on that free Microsoft Exchange 2016. There's lots of articles out there, but if you follow my install instructions, you should be good. So in my previous video, I created a user called Unky Joe's Playhouse, and so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to log in, and I've also created a DNS entry, a CNAME entry we created called OWA, and that points to my domain name, and it points to the correct location for the Outlook Web Access. So now all we have to do is type in our password here, and then we can click on the sign in button. Alright, and I have a test email in here already, but what I really want to go over is some of the options here for you. So over here on the upper left hand, right now it starts in Mail, but over on the left hand side, if we click on this little menu button here, we have an option of using Mail, our calendar, our contacts, and our tasks. So if I were to switch to the calendar, we get the calendar view. If I'm to switch to people, we get the contacts view. And if I switch to tasks, we have our task view. So pretty much everything you have in the just like you do in the Outlook 2016 client. But what I want to show you is some stuff on how to customize it and make it yours. So if you come up here to the little icon here, that is your username and your email name right here. This is your username on the domain, and this is your actual alias or email name on the mcstx.net network. So if you click on change here, you can actually upload a photo, and I'm going to see if I can't find a picture to upload. So I'll do that. I've got my regular picture I use, so there you go. And then I just simply click on save, and now my little photo is associated with my email account, and I believe that comes over in calendar and everything else. So nice, right? All right. This little bell here are notifications, so if you click on that, I don't have anything right now. If I click on it again, it goes away. Now, I don't like the preview on email, but if I hover over this email, I have some options. I have option to delete it. I can mark it as unread. I can flag that message. I can also keep that message at the top of my folder. But if I were to single click on it, it opens the mail, and then I have some options in here as well. And here is my reply, here's the original message, etc. And I could do delete, I could archive, put it to junk, sweep, move it to a folder, categorize it, and I have quite a few other options here. So you can see the Outlook Web Access client is pretty much as powerful as the actual Outlook client. If you don't have Office, or you don't want to use Outlook because it's a memory pig, you can use the Outlook Web Access. So that's what I'm trying to show you here. So if I go back to my inbox, then it closes that message. Of course, I can click on the little expansion here, and you'll see the timeline of the messages and all the associated emails that go with it. I could also mark it as junk or a phishing email, etc. And then if I right click on it, I have some more options as well. So, you know, get in there and play around with it. You also create rules, etc. Pretty neat stuff. Alright, so if we come up here to the gear icon, we can set up automatic replies, we can change our display settings, we can manage our add-ins, we can set up our offline settings, change our theme, or go into options. So if we were to go into automatic replies, I could turn them on. It's similar to a vacation message or an out-of-office message, so that was something that previous versions of the Outlook Web Access did not have, but is now built into Exchange or Outlook Web Access. And it's pretty much self-explanatory. You can send the automatic replies. You could set a start and end time. Tell it only do replies only during this time period, or send them automatic reply messages to senders outside my organization, etc. I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to click cancel here, but that is an option you have. Come back up to the gear, go to display settings, and this is where you can turn that reading pane over here that I was telling you off, or telling you off that I was telling you I could turn off. So if you show it, it'll appear on the right hand side, or you can have it appear on the bottom. I just like it. We'll turn it onto the right hand side just for shits and giggles. And then we apply it to all folders. If this box isn't selected, the display settings you chose will only apply to the email folder that is currently active. And then choose what happens when you move or delete an item. You open the next item. Choose what happens when you sign in. Let me select the message to read first. And then you have your message list. You can display them by subject or sender. And you can change the preview text or hide it. And then conversations, that was a little thing I showed you on the side. If you click on that little triangle there, that'll list all your conversations. I have mine set to newest messages on top, and then when items have been deleted, show deleted items. So we come back to the reading pane. I'll go ahead and turn that on, and then you can see over here, there's the reading pane on the right hand side. And this is the little triangle I was talking about. If you click on that, that shows you the message conversation string in it. Okay, let's come up to the gear icon again. Manage add-ins. I don't have any. Well, let's put it this way. I have action items, Bing Maps, My Templates, Suggested Meetings, and Unsubscribe. So I do have some add-ins in there, and those are the default ones that came with Microsoft. Our offline settings. After you turn on offline access, you can use this computer when it's not connected to a network, so that in essence it will try to download your mail for you into a file that you can use, and then when you're reconnected, it'll automatically send or receive those additional mails. And then probably one of my favorite parts here is, I'm going to cancel on that, is the theme. So let me go back to my mail, get rid of these options here. Okay, so they have all these neat little wonderful themes you can apply to your email, and they even show you in real time what it's going to look like. I think I like that one the best, but you have a plethora of themes, and I'm sure there are themes that you can download from Microsoft as well, but these are the ones that are pleasing to my eye. So I'm going to go ahead and click on OK, and you'll see that when you do that, it should apply to your calendar, should apply to your people, and should apply to your tasks, and it does. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is go into some of the options here. So we'll go up to our gear icon, come down here to options, and it starts on mail options, but I want to actually come up here to the general and go over these items here. So if I come in here to my account, because I'm a member of an Active Directory domain, all of this information is contained on my Active Directory domain controller, and I actually haven't filled any of this in, but you can fill it in here and then save it. So let's say I want to change my state or my city, so I'll put that in, and I'll put my whatchamacallit in there, my state, and then click on save. And not only will it upgrade or update my email account, but it will update the Active Directory account as well. Some of these items are not configurable. You can't change them. which is fine. And then down here it'll tell you your mailbox usage, how much, what your quota is, and how much you actually have used. And then you can change your theme from this location as well. So if you wanted to change that to pretty little kitty cat or something like this, or something a little more strange, you can do that. I'm going to put it back on what I had it on. Distribution groups, if you had any, they would appear here. Keyboard shortcuts. So you can perform many common tasks using the keyboard. You can use which version of shortcuts you'd like to use or turn them off. We just select Outlook. You can manage your add-ins here. Mobile devices, if I had any, they would appear here. Offline settings, we covered that up here earlier. Accessibility settings, self-explanatory. The light version, if you wanted to, if you had a low bandwidth connection, you could use that. Region and time zone, mine is set for the United States English. Date format, I know you Europeans look at us crazy and go, why would you put the date or month before the date? I know, it's just the way we do it here. We go month, date, year. I know you go date, month, year in Europe, but we don't do that here, and we don't use the metric system. Sorry, just don't like it. Imperial measurements are the only ones I like. And then the current time zone. And then if you had the ability to do text messaging, you would have that setting here. So that covers the general settings. And then if we come under the mail and automatic processing, we have our automatic replies, which is basically our out of office, like we discussed before. You do have the ability to do an undo send. You can cancel an email. So if you hit, for example, say you were sending a picture of your kitty cat to your wife, and instead of sending it to your wife, you send it to your all users or everybody in your contact list. This would give you, if you set it, it would give you up to 30 seconds to be able to recall that message. I have only used this once before, and it's not, it's not great. Just, kind of pay attention to what you're doing. But you do have that feature if you need it. Inbox and sweep rules. Okay, so these are your inbox rules. And you can create a new rule and give it a name. You select what conditions the email needs to meet, or you can add your own conditions, and then you select an action, and then any exceptions if you needed it. And then it says stop processing more rules. What does this mean? If you click on it, you get some helpful information from Outlook. I had to switch my view here so you can actually see that. I'm going to cancel on that. And then sweep rules, same thing. You can run these at regular intervals to keep your inbox clean. I don't see anywhere to add the rule, but hey, whatever. Junk email reporting. Reporting junk email to Microsoft helps improve the accuracy. They're going to, when messages are marked as junk, ask me before sending a report. That's the default. And then share the report with other companies that fight junk emails. So hopefully we trust Microsoft to do as they say they're going to do. And then mark as read. Choose which item should be marked as read. I mark items as read when the selection changes. Message options. After moving or deleting an item, open the next item. You can play a sound, which I choose. I want it to play a sound. Display a notification. And then you can empty the deleted items folder when you sign out, if you so choose that option. And then this is very handy to have. And this is a read receipt. Now, this only works if your person receiving the email, if their mail service supports this, and they opt into that. They can always say, hey, the sender of this message has requested a read receipt. Do you want to send it? They always have they should have the option to opt out of that response. So keep that in mind. I use this mainly for troubleshooting. Like if I'm sending an email, somebody calls me and say, hey, I'm not receiving email. I'll send this email out with a read receipt on there and see if I get a response. So reply settings. You can change the default reply settings that displayed when you open a message you received in the reading pane. If you choose reply all, your responses will be sent to everyone on the to and CC lines. If you choose reply, your response will only go to the sender. Okay. And then under account settings, you have block or allow. You can enter safe senders and recipients or block senders. And this will start to populate as you update your spam filter. Pop and IMAP I don't use. Let's see, storage account. If you wanted, this is for your attachments, because you remember you have a 2 GB limitation on the mail server. I don't recommend sending attachments via email. I don't think that's a very good way to do it, but in a pinch you have it. But if you wanted to connect another account, say a Gmail or a cloud account to this to store your attachments, you can do that. Next we'll come down to layout and your conversations, your newest messages on top, and when items have been deleted, you want to show deleted items. Email signature, this is very handy. If you want to put an email signature in here, you can type that in and tell it to include it on your new messages, or include it on your new messages and forward or reply tos. So, and I choose both usually. I haven't set a signature up here yet, but you could. Link previews, when you open a message that contains a hyperlink or add a link to a message, Outlook inserts a preview of the website. If you don't want to see previews, clear the checkbox below, and then they have learn more. Message format, these are your, you can show your BCC, and you can always show from, and this chooses the type of messages you're going to send, whether HTML or plain text. It used to be you had to, some people you can only send text messages to, plain text. The HTML would be rejected, but you know, we've come a long way since then. And then you can choose your default font that you want to send everything out in. Like I use Sego UI for my web, for my YouTube channel, so I can include that as my sample, as my text, or my default text or font if I wanted to. And I'm going to discard the changes, so I'm not going to use those. Now, message list. You can choose how to display your messages. Choose whether or not to preview text. Quick actions. You can add or remove items to your quick actions. You can even add an option to archive in there. I'm going to discard my changes. And then your reading pane again. It's pretty self-explanatory. The right, the bottom, or hide it, and then options to open or close the next messages. And the final setting under options are your calendars. So let's go ahead and look at that. So we're under calendar, personalization, calendar appearance. So my work week is actually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm going to enable Saturday and Sunday in there as well. My start time, I usually start work about 8 a.m. and my business end time is about 5:30 p.m. Okay? Now I can also show week numbers in the month zone if I want to. Start the first week of the year on the first day of the year. Show the last day of the week as Sunday. Actually, Saturday is the last day of the week, but we'll keep the default. Sunday is actually the first day of the week. I don't know if everybody's aware of that or not. And then I like to show my hours in 15-minute increments. Most of my support calls are under 15 minutes, so that's just how I set mine. I'm going to go ahead and click on Save. So if we come up here now to Calendar, and we try to add an item, we should see that we have 15-minute increments now. That's what that setting changes. Okay, and discard those changes. And come back to Mail, and then come back to our options. And then you can choose bright colors or light colors. I just keep the light colors. Somebody from the 80s designed this, and I guess they like pastels. Okay, and then under automatic processing, we have invitations. This controls how invitations, responses, and notifications are handled. So by default, it says delete invitations and responses that have been updated. That's fine, that's the default. But you can also delete notifications about forwarded events if you wanted to. Okay, your reminders. It'll show you reminder alerts. You play a sound when the reminder is due. The default reminder, 15 minutes. You can set that to 5 or 10 or an hour or whatever you want. So if you were to snooze it, you would, by default, it's going to snooze it, I believe, for 15 minutes. Let's see, get a daily email agenda for calendar and tasks. I'm going to turn that on. I like that. And then don't send an agenda on days when I have no events or tasks. That's a neat little reminder to check your calendar, so that's why I turned that on. And I'm going to go ahead and save that setting. Text message notifications. I don't use text messaging, so that's not a item for me. And then calendar publishing. You can publish a calendar, use an HTML link if you want receipts to view the calendar in a browser, or an ICS link if you want them to subscribe. And then you can select your permissions, availability only, limited details, or full details. And then other calendars, like the birthday calendar, it makes it handy for keeping track of people's birthdays. And that's it for the calendar settings. So that gives you an idea of some of the basics of Outlook Web Access, and it's not quite as feature rich as the Outlook 2016 client, but I can't show you that right now. I have to set that up, and we're going to save that for another video that I'll show you how to set up the Outlook 2016 client to work with your Exchange server and give you some more features and functions. But for you road warriors out there, or for people that have clients that are on the road a lot, this can come in very handy in a pinch. If they're using a shared or a public computer, they can log in securely to your mail server, get their email, and do a little bit of work, even though they didn't have a physical connection to the network. This gives them that ability to do it. So there you go. That's the Outlook Web Access client in a kind of a condensed little version of it. Again, not as powerful and feature rich as Outlook 2016. But it gets the job done in a pinch. If you need something, remotely, you don't have your laptop with you or whatever, or you're at your in-laws' house or something, you need to check your email real quick. It's a handy little interface to have. So now, I said this was probably going to be our final video in the Microsoft Exchange Server 2016 series, but I may have told a little fib there. I think what I'll do is I'll set up a virtual machine running Office 2016 and show you the Outlook 2016 interface. It has a few more powerful features than the Outlook Web Access interface, and that'll give you an idea of how to set up one of those accounts and why that auto discover address is so important, setting that up correctly in your DNS, because if you don't, Outlook 2016 won't ever connect. But I figured out how to do it, and I showed you that in part 2 of the video. Showed you how to set up your split DNS, so forth, all of that. So anyway, we hope you found the video entertaining and informative as always. If you liked it, smash that thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, smash that thumbs up button. Leave your comments down in the comment section. I always look forward to getting comments. If you have any questions, though, send those questions to unclejoesplayhouse@gmail.com, and I will answer them there as soon as I can. I try to check that account daily, but sometimes I get a little bit behind. The other thing is our Twitter account is back up. It's Unky Joe's PLH. I think that's what it is. Let me double check what my Twitter handle is. We've updated in the About section. So if you go up to the About section on my YouTube page, it is UNKYJOESPH at UNKYJOESPH is my Twitter handle, and you can reach us there. And what I try to do is put announcements up there, like when I'm going to do the live streams. I'm trying to do a live stream every Saturday at noon, so put that in your calendar. Some Saturdays it might not be able to happen if I have family or personal events going on, but I'm going to try and commit to a live stream every Saturday at noon, and that gives you guys an opportunity to talk back with me live. Morton from my Playhouse joined us last weekend, and then in turn he did one right after I did one, so it was a really fun day, and it was just I like it when things kind of flow like that. So if you're so inclined, and you have a Twitter account, keep your eyes there. And we have our Facebook account, which we put notifications on as well. Now, if you want to donate, 2 ways to do it: PayPal, Patreon. If you want to be a regular contributor, use Patreon. If you want to just do a one-time contribution, hit the do the PayPal. We're trying to save up about $150, $160 in donations to, as you know, we have ordered an IBM 3650 M3. It should be here by the end of the week, but I want to upgrade the processors in it, get the fastest ones in there I can. So I'm saving up to buy a couple of X5680 6-core processors, so that we'll have 12 cores on that server instead of 8. Yeah, I think it's 8. So if you're so inclined, throw us $1, throw us $5, whatever you can afford, out on PayPal or Patreon, and we'll put that toward the CPU. So thanks again for watching. Don't forget, we'll see you on the other side.